trying something different here, a little bit of background music. So, a little bit of Desiree here for those of you who want to go back in time. So, this is, and my name is Anjanette Potter, also known as Adam's Rib. You are listening to the midweek update for Adam's Rib TV and also midweek Bible study. Um, I'm going to go ahead and turn this down. Hopefully, you guys can hear it because I'm trying something different here. I'm seeing how well you guys can hear this music because I am thinking about trying Eclectic Weekends live again every so often. I'm still gonna do the Eclectic Music Geek podcast. And the next one coming up is going to be interesting for us. So, in keeping with this month's theme, which is 31 days of July 1966, I'm going to go from the Take Me Back .to website. So, um, yesterday was Wednesday, so I'm going to go ahead and do Wednesdays, and then I'm going to go to do today's. So, as I covered the last time I did this on the podcast, the eclectic, on the Anjanette Speak podcast, I reminded you that those that are born under this particular time period, all the way up until the 23rd, are considered to be under the astrological sign of Cancer. Okay. The president was Lyndon B. Johnson, Democrat. The prime minister was still Harold Wilson from the Labor Party. Pope John St. John the Sixth was leading the Catholic Church. Famous people that were born on the 13th were Gil Birmingham and My Young Huey. In that special week of people, the U.S. was listening to Hanky Panky by Tommy James and the Shondells. In the UK, Sunny Afternoon by the Kinks was in the top five. The Wildcats, directed by Roger Corman, was one of the most viewed movies that week. And those who by Irving Stone was the best-selling book. Let me see here. So last time I was on here, we talked about the Chicago riots that happened during that particular time. Okay. So the holidays were for Mongolia was Naim on the third day. For the Baja Faith, it was the Feast of Klim, first day of the seventh day of the month. Bond Festival. If this is a distraction, let me know. Everywhere that I'm reaching you right now, there should be a comment section. So feel free to comment. If you're on YouTube, comment. If you're looking, if you downloaded the HAPS TV app, you can comment. Feel free to comment there. If you are following me on YouTube, if you're following me on Facebook, if you're following me on Twitch, if you're following me on Twitter, if you're following me, I'm on Instagram as well from here. So I like this a whole lot better because I have she I like this a whole lot better because I have more this allows me to hit more social media platforms. So let me see here, Bond Festival for the Buddhists. Um, Kiribati for Independence Day. Now, another event that happened during this time was Richard Speck murdered 8 nurses in Chicago. Seemed to be a lot of stuff happening in Chicago right about this time. Okay, so let me see here. So as I said, the last time I was on here, Wild Angels, How to Steal a Million, um, Who Wants to Kill Jesse, Torn Curtain, and Mr. Boodwing were the feature films that were out during this time. And on the okay, Claudia Cardinale is still on the cover of Life magazine. Those Who Love, The Detective, I the King, Tell No Man, and In Cold Blood are still the bestsellers because we're talking. A lot of this information is going to be pretty repetitive because we're talking about the same week. So let's go into a little bit of depth here and 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 discuss Richard Speck. So if you have been looking, um, YouTube has quite a few accounts that that are doing what I call serial killer documentaries. Some of them are pretty good, and the funny thing is they're able to do give you this information in like 30 minutes or less. So I'm seeing that my hey, I'm hearing I'm from my end I'm hearing Stevie Wonder, so I don't know if you're hearing him or not. I'm hoping that you are because if you are, then that means I may be able to play music on here and was having some difficulties with my internet connection was trying to act a little funny on me. So let's go spec is. So for those of you that don't know, Richard Speck is an American mass murderer who systematically raped and tortured and murdered 8 student nurses from Southside Chicago Community Hospital on the night of July 13th in the early morning hours of um, July 14th, 1966. It's just wild to think of some of the activities that took place during that time. He was sentenced at trial. He was convicted at trial and sentenced to death, but the sentence was later overturned due to issues with jury selection at his trial. He died of a heart attack in 1991 after 25 years in prison. In 1996, videotapes featuring Speck were shown before the Illinois state legislature to highlight some of the illegal activity that took place in prisons. I think I remember this guy because I think I remember them showing him doing a whole lot of very X-rated stuff. Let me see here. He was Okay, it says in 1996, Chicago television news anchor Bill Curtis received videotapes made at Stateville Correction Center in 1988 from an anonymous attorney, showing them publicly for the first time before the before the Illinois state legislature. Um, Curtis pointed out the explicit scenes of sex, drug use, and money being passed around prisoners who seemingly had no fear of being caught. In the center was Speck performing a sex act on another, I'll leave it up to your imagination, on another inmate, sharing a large quantity of cocaine with another inmate, and parading around in silk panties sporting feminine. Yeah, I remember these. Oh my God, he was cray. He was definitely cray cray. Yeah, he enhanced himself. He had enhanced his breasts. You know, hopefully YouTube will not have a fit. And all of that there. Yeah, he was very crazy. He was very crazy. So this was all going on July 13th. Let me go into uh, July 14th. Okay, so let's get into July 14th. So on July 14th, pretty much all the information that I gave to you. Famous people who were born on this day include Matthew Fox, Tanya Donnelly, and once again the same songs were in the top of the charts. Let me see what notable things were going on during that time. Okay, so nothing. So let me see. So the holidays on that fell on that day. Sweden celebrates birth of Victoria, Crown Princess of Sweden, an official flag day. France and all of France celebrates Bastille Day. Kiribati, which is it celebrates their Independence Day, third day, but not a holiday. So the activity of Richard Speck carries over to the 14th, which is today's date. Other famous birthdays include Ellen Reid, who is a Canadian pianist and vocalist, Owen Coyle, a Scottish born Irish football player. Let me see. Uh, DJ Johnson, NFL quarterback for Atlanta Falcons. Brian Selznick, American author and illustrator. Matt Hume, a mixed martial artist. I already said Tanya Tana Donnelly, a rocker. I think the name of the band is Belly. Juliet Cesario, American actress, and a famous death is Julie Manet. Manet. She's a French painter and art collector. Okay. Same movies: Wild Horses, How to Steal a Million, Who Wants to Kill Jesse, Torn Curtain, Mr. Woodwig. Let me see here. Same top five songs. Okay, let me see. Okay. Mm-mm-mm. Same people, same books. Those Who Love, The Detective, I the King, Tell No Man, and I keep seeing Jay Leno in the ad on here and everything. So let me see here. Anyway, so we're caught up for notable things that were happening during July of 1966. And some of you, those of you who have birthdays today, my July babies, and I am a July baby. So if you are part of the July Brigade, the earth opened up, you blessed us with your presence on this any day this month. I wish you love and happiness and everything your heart can desire. Please be a blessing to others. Remember that God saw fit to let you live as long as you have lived. Out of millions of sperm, one united with an egg, and the zygote happened, and you survived 9 months inside someone's belly. Um, you made it through a birth canal. You made it through everything. You made it through. Let me see. What else did you make it through? You made it through pregnancy. You made it through being birthed into this world. You and hopefully the person who brought you forth, the biological mother that brought you forth. For those of you who know nurses showed up and kidnapped you out of the hospital, nothing happened to you during the triage. You weren't in intensive care or anything like that. And for those of you who may have had that experience and made it all the way through, we thank God for you as well. Okay. The last time the last podcast that I did, I talked about all that can go wrong whenever you are entering this world. And we thank God for those who fed you, took care of you, nurtured you. There's so much that can go wrong. So when there's things that are going right, I talked about watching my grandson be born into the world, and what a miracle, what a beautiful thing it was to see him enter the world and to watch this phenomenal miracle called birth. Watching a human being come into the world is such a phenomenal thing. And I thank God for both sides of my family kind of demonstrating what a natural phenomena carrying a baby, no matter what the circumstances, whether you're unwed or not, what it that decided that for the young ladies who got pregnant in my family, to make it a positive experience, to tell us how to take care of ourselves, that even if the person that we were married, if we were married, or maybe we were not married, but the person we were pregnant by wasn't acting right, they did everything they could to try to keep it as stress free as possible. I don't think especially a lot of men realize what hard work pregnancy is, and then to go through an average of 12 hours contracting to pass a human being through your body. I had my daughter and her friend laughing one time. We were in my car and we were listening to these men that were talking all this stuff about pregnancy. And I was like, well, I'll tell you what, you swallow a watermelon seed, grow somebody in your body, and then push them out your rear end, then I will listen to you talk about motherhood. You have no idea. And I did this twice. Okay. I thought about doing it twice, and the funny thing is, my grandmother did it 8 times. My mother's mother did this thing 8 times. My other grandmother, my dad's mother, did it 3 times. But, for those who have like 5 kids or more, bless you, honey. Okay, bless you, because this is, and then those of you who pushed out more than one baby, like had twins or whatever, like I would tell any man, if you are responsible for making someone have to push a person out into the world, it is no walk in the park, and you should really be nice to anybody that you helped get pregnant. Okay, if you helped a woman get pregnant, please be nice, because giving birth to a human being is an awesome thing. But oh my God, people say, "Oh, you got that." That is not the easy part. That is the hardest work. When they tell you that it is the hardest work that you will ever do in your life, they ain't lying to you. It's hard work. And that's without complications. Like, I didn't have any complications, not a whole lot with either one of my pregnancies. I thank God every day that I didn't have to go through having a C-section or any of that other stuff. It's enough just pushing them through your little kitty cat, you know, just being the vessel. I thank God that He honored me with that. I'm not going to be one of these people. Oh no, I have no regrets about having my kids. I promise you, and I'm not lying about that at all. I always knew I would be a mom. I have nothing but positive things to say about motherhood. I thank God that He allowed me to raise the 2 people that I was able to raise to adulthood. I thank God that He entrusts me to be a grandma to whatever kids my kids go out here and make and everything. So it's all good. So to get back to the telecast, I guess some of you already know, those of you who are some serious Jim Jones fans or Dipset fans or whatever. So the announcement has already been made that the next verses will be on August 6th at 6 p.m. Pacific time and 9 p.m. Eastern time, and it is going to be the Locks. Okay, my internet is trying to act a fool. It's going to be the Locks, who I have never heard of, and I'm gonna have to look them up. So charge it to my head and not my heart. And Dipset. So I'm gonna look these 2 up. Mm-mm-mm. They look familiar. So the Locks is a these are both hip hop groups. And so, okay, Jadakiss, Styles P, and Chic Luch. So this is gonna be interesting. Like, cause I know about Jadakiss and know about Styles P, but I never knew like who they came out of. So they are also okay. I've heard of the Bomb Squad. So they're also known as the Bomb Squad, D Lock, and the Warlocks. They come to us from Yonkers, New York, U.S. They are, of course, hip hop. They've been on D Block from 2002 to the present. Rock Nation from 2015 to the present. Rough Riders from 1998 to 2010, and Bad Boy um, from 1995 to 1999. They are some associated acts are the Rough Riders and Dame Grease. So some studio albums that they recorded were Money, Power, and Respect, We're the Streets, Filthy America is Beautiful, and Living Off Experiences, their most recent cut. So I will be doing a podcast within the next week or so dedicated to these 2 groups, and I will be telling the rest of their story on it. So let's get into Dipset. Okay. Now I remember Dipset from now. Dipset is okay. My son listened to Dipset. So yes, my my oldest baby, let me see here. My oldest baby, who is 30, who is 33 now, was a Dipset fan. So let me see here. Now, Dipset, well, they're also known as the Diplomats. You know them by their most common name, was the Diplomats, also known as Dipset. They're an American hip hop group formed in 1997 by childhood friends Cameron. I remember Cameron, Jim Jones. Many of y'all, well, those of you who are diehard fans, you know him from this group. The rest of us know him from Love and Hip Hop. Him and his girlfriend Chrissy. So they formed it in Harlem, New York. The labels that they were on: Diplomat, Rockefeller, Def Jam, Coach, and spelled COS women K. Lord have mercy, KOCH and Interscope. Their associated acts are Purple City, Straight Property, Skull King, and Bird Gang. Members are Cameron, Freaky, Freaky Zeke, Jules Santana, and of course Jim Jones. Past members have been 40 Cal, J.R. Ryder, and Hellrell. So I'm going to be dedicating a podcast to this. I'm go with me. Show your love if you're an old fan. Some places where you'll be able to see this. Let me see here. So let's hold on here. So you can see, if you have a Roku device, you will be able to see this on. You can watch it on the Triller app. You can watch it on the Triller app. You can watch it on Instagram. I've watched them on Instagram before. Or if you have a Roku device, a Roku television, you can get it on. You can watch it on FITE. They do sporting events, but now they're one of the official places to watch the versus battles. So I'm looking forward to seeing this, and hopefully you will join me and show all of the members. Whoever, everybody got somebody that they thought was the cool guy out of each of these groups. So let's show them some love. They have been around a minute. I remember them from back when me and my son were in church, because I listened to it and I heard, like, the cuss and the language, and I was like, oh boy. But these are some pretty talented dudes. I have, since I have started watching Love and Hip Hop, I started listening to a lot of their stuff to know who I was, listening to. And these are actually some very talented men. So let's show them some love. I am not going to ask you to do anything I wouldn't do if you are a born again Christian like me. And if the language is too much, I don't expect for you to sit through nothing or anything like that. But those of us that can, let's show up and show out and show them some love, and listen, give them a listen. Most of our, we want to give our legends their flowers while they still live, because there are a lot of them that are leaving here, and I don't like it at all. Um, anyway, on from that piece of news. So I will be podcasting again tomorrow, in keeping with the theme of the 31 days of 1966. I'm also going to finish up the podcast that I did for Bow Wow and Soldier Boy, as well as Bobby Brown and Keith Sweat, along with all of their biographical information. All biographical information that I give you on any of these acts is usually going to be from Wikipedia or any other site that I can find. Um, my Looks like my music went south on me. But I'm trying, like I said before, I'm trying to see how the whole music thing works out. so that if I can play live music, so that I can play live music while whenever I go live. Okay. Anyway, so tonight I was going to do. Okay. Okay. So tonight I wanted to talk about a little bit more on Satan's lies to women. So one lie that I want to go over, and one of my favorite comedians kind of went on with this one in his book. So the lie goes, men need sex. Now, I understand the sympathy, I understand the sentiment behind that one. And I'm not calling him Satan because he is a born again Christian like myself. But you have to be careful, especially like if you're a single woman and you're saved and you're wanting to save it. Certain things can be used as a woman to press you sexually because it can make you worry about, well, because this coincides with the other lie, which is what you don't do, another woman will. So, um, the purpose of that, which I don't think that was his purpose, he was just coming and speaking his truth. Um, First of all, men don't need sex. God is not going to ask you to do anything that you're incapable of doing. And what it does is it goes back into that whole thing of making women feel pressed to satisfy their man. If you read the Bible for yourself, and when I am on the next podcast or back here next week, I will talk to you about do benevolence. So do benevolence. First of all, if you're a born again Christian, the only person you should be having sex with is your legal spouse. And the only person whose job it is to keep you satisfied sexually is your legal spouse. The Word of God talks about men and women not withholding from each other. Okay, so the Word of God in the Bible talks about men and women coming together on a regular basis so that neither one will be tempted of the devil. And many male religious males and males in leadership in churches have somehow left out all of the corresponding scriptures that tell men, hey, you need to be serving your wife as well. Because the same Bible that says that women, well, you no longer belong to yourself, you now belong to your husband. Well, your husband no longer belongs to himself either. So he cannot just go out here and share himself with other women just because he thinks that you are not, quote, meeting his needs. So this is why I come against that one because, and many times it's also used by men who aren't married to try to get women to take care of them. It's used by married men as an excuse to, well, my wife isn't taking care of me at home. So therefore they may try to make it some other woman's job to take care of them because their wife ain't holding it down. Never mind if women cheated, if women made up that same excuse about being neglected and used it to cheat, these same men would have a fit. So, another lie. I was looking at my Facebook. So many of y'all already know because I've already said it on here once before. The whole recent thing with Monique picking on women's clothes and saying, "My babies, I'm so concerned about you," and this and the other. So the most recent thing that I saw was that she had posted this picture that one of her followers had sent her a picture of this woman who had on, she was a thick, dark skinned woman, with one of the hats on, and her clothes were too tight and very not very form fitting in a bad way. So they sent the picture, they took the picture of the woman and they sent it to Monique, and Monique went forward to plaster it on social media. Now, if you have listened, if you follow my podcast any amount of time or follow me on YouTube, you know that I have defended Monique in the past when she was going through the whole thing with Netflix and all of the erasure, because I know how they do black women. Okay, I know how black women get done. So So this is not me. I'm not anti Monique on anything. She's still one of my favorite comedians. She's a very funny woman. So I listened to this and I'm like, okay, first of all, and right beneath the first commenter said the same thing I was feeling. Like, this is what we're doing now. We're humiliating other black women on the internet, because I can't even say national television anymore, because now media has gotten so varied and so widespread. Now you're talking about the globe. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you got to agree with everything another black person does, because, nobody knows better than me. Much as I love myself black, much as I love other black people, and I really love all people, but black people have a very special place in my heart because, I'm black. Obviously, I'm black. So I'm going to care about how things affect us. And so this bothers me because why are you shaming this woman about her clothes? You don't know this woman. And I'm going to be honest with you. Devil, God, or whatever, probably the devil. I had an opportunity to judge a young woman earlier today as I was taking the Queen Mother around to run her errands. And I thought about it and I was like, I'm not about to say nothing to this woman. I don't even know her. You don't know that person's situation. You don't know why they're wearing what they're wearing. People tend to dress, and I told this to a guy one time when I was doing Yes All Women. People dress for where they're on their way to. If a woman has on gym clothes, more than likely she's going to the gym. Um, Maybe you'll dress for the office. Maybe you have on some cute pumping hottie clothes because you're going to the club. Everything that we do is not about, for a man's evaluation, much less happen to hear another woman. So I also saw a very disturbing post where a woman said, fellas don't get caught up by a $7 or $8 sundress and wind up paying however much in child support. Well, first of all, every woman who's dressing, and I'm gonna say I like sundresses. I like sundresses, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not above wearing the $7, $8, 7, 8, all the way up to 15, whatever, as long as looks cute. Number one, I've never had a man approach me and thought I was cute and asked me how much my clothes cost, because they don't care. As long as if you look $7 worth of cute, they are going to approach you. If they think you even halfway look like anything, if you are 500 pounds worth of cute, they're gonna still approach whatever they think is attractive. Whatever they think is attractive, they are not looking at the price tag. And so the first thing that came to my mind was this song by India Irie. My worth is not determined by the price on my clothes. So many of y'all, if you're India Irie stan, you know what song I'm talking about. It was a song that ministered to me many a days back in the day and everything. So yeah, no, I'm listening to this music or whatever. It's a little distraction because I'm not used to having music on while I'm talking right now. Um, so you know, as black women, you are black women out here in the world, you already know what it is like for us. Let's not go in on each other. Um, the first thing I thought about people who approach people, and approach this young lady. First of all, she wasn't black, and where anybody knows anything about Bexley here in Columbus, it's mostly a lot of white people and Jewish. So it's like it's not a poor so this was not a poor area that I was in. And I'm like, I don't, maybe she spent the night with her man. Maybe she was in an all night study session. Like, I don't know what was going on with her, but I did not feel led to go and say nothing crazy to her or take no pictures and all of that. When is the last time some of these people looked at when is the last time you as a woman looked at another woman and had a word from the Lord for her, a word of encouragement? I'm reminded of a book that I read by an internet friend named Pat George Walker. So if you are a fan of Miss George Walker, you know she writes the Sister Betty books. And so the first one I bought from her was Sister Betty, God is Calling You Again. That was the name of the book. And it was a series of short stories. And the one short story that she had, she talked about she talked about God calling Sister Betty. So Sister Betty is sitting down, waiting for her call from God. At least three or four people, I think about three people. One knocked on the door, one called on the phone, and another one, there were all opportunities to help people. And she, kind of turned them down because she was busy. She waiting on her call from the Lord. And so God finally did call her on the telephone. And so while she was on the phone, he said, each of those different people who approached you was me. I know even my Spotify player got quiet. Was me. And each of these every and so he went to the scripture that talks about when you do to the least of these my brethren that you are doing is unto me. That means your mean behavior as well as your good behavior is being done is unto me. And I will go ahead and let me see if I can find that scripture. Okay. Okay. It's Matthew 25 and 40. Okay. So I'm gonna back these up a little bit. So Jesus talks about the judgment. But when the Son of Man comes in his glory and majesties, and all the angels with him, and he will sit on the throne of his glory. All the nations will be gathered before him for judgment, and he will separate them one from another as a shepherd separates his sheep from goats. And he will put his sheep on the right, the place of honor, and the goats on his left, the place of rejection. So you know how we have that expression talking about going left? Yeah. The king will say to those on his right, come, you blessed of my father, you favored of God, appointed to eternal salvation. Inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world. For I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, and you invited me in. I was naked, and you clothed me. I was sick and you visited me with help and ministering care. I was in prison and you came to me, ignoring personal danger. And the righteous will say to him, Lord, when did we see you hungry and feed you, or thirsty and give you something to drink? And when did we see you as a stranger and invite you in, or naked and clothe you? And when did we see you sick or in prison and come to you? The king will answer and say to them, I assure you, and most solemnly say to you, that to the extent that you did it to one of these brothers of mine, even the least of them, you did it for me. Now, let's get the rest of this. Then he will say to those on his left, leave me, you cursed ones, unto the eternal fire which has been prepared for the devil and his demons. For I was hungry, and you gave me nothing to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me nothing to drink. I was a stranger, and you did not invite me in. Naked, and you did not clothe me. Sick and in prison, and you did not visit with me with help, ministering care. And they will say in their turn, and they in their also in their turn will say, Lord, when did we see you hungry or thirsty or as a stranger or naked or sick and in prison and did not minister to you? And he will reply to them, I assure you and most solemnly say to you, to the extent that you did not do it for the least for one of the least of these, my followers, you did not do it for me. And these unbelieving people will go away into eternal punishment. But those who are righteous and right standing with God will go by his remarkable grace into eternal unending life. If you're a born again Christian at all, God watches. Okay. And you want to be careful. If you're out here and you're born again Christian, shaming is not the way to go. Shaming doesn't work. And there's been a lot of cult like activity being visited in the church here lately. I'm also seeing a whole lot of very dangerous sexual behavior with men in the church. That counts too. Whatever, if you're trying to take advantage of women sexually, whatever you do to mankind, you're also doing to God. If you have a problem with the poor, the word of God says that when you lend to the poor, you lend to the Lord. So you have to be careful how you do things out here. I'm going to give the rest of what I have to say about lies Satan tells women next week, because I didn't get a chance to really, really take any proper notes for this. But just know that, I'm going to continue. Adam's Rib Media Ministry ain't going nowhere. Adam's Rib TV ain't going nowhere. If anything, I'm going to up my game, which is what I'm trying to do now with this music playing. So you guys have a good rest of the week. Enjoy your little ones. Enjoy your weekend. Um, I start a job. I start training on Monday, but I'm still going to be doing this. I'm believing for this to be my full time gig after a while. So you guys, if you're following me on YouTube, please subscribe. I need as many subscribers as possible, to help the channel. If you want to, right now, I'm not yeah, just like everybody else. Yeah, I do have a Patreon. Yes, I do have a Cash App for those who want to make a one-time donation. But I'm more interested in you subscribing to my Anchor, to my YouTube, and different other social media that I have. I'm not really worried about you, because most of the income that I get out of doing any of this comes through my Anchor, because it is monetized. If I can get enough subscribers on YouTube, then I can become monetized. But so I'm really not worried about donations unless you just feel led to give them at this time. As this channel blesses you, then you can bless us. But I'm really not. But I'm more worried about subscribers than I am about one or two, donations. Um, but you guys have a blessed rest of the week. Enjoy your young ones. And those of you that are on vacation, because I'm seeing a lot of vacation photos. Congratulations on being able to visit and go to all these different exotic destinations. I love you guys and enjoy your break. Enjoy your vacation. May the rest of us be able to be able may the rest of us be able to this time next year be able to go and travel like you guys are doing. So you guys have a good one. Enjoy yourself. I love you all and have a good week and have a good rest of the week. I will see you over the weekend. We'll go out of here with a little bit of Prince.